Welcome back to Stoic Habit Builder, the place where ancient wisdom becomes modern strength. I'm grateful you're here, because this is not just another channel. This is a community of men and women who refuse to live on autopilot. Here, we learn how to rise above chaos, take full responsibility for our lives, and build habits that make us unshakable. So if you're ready to step into discipline, clarity, and true inner power, you're in the right place. Let's begin. Have you ever wondered why we spend so much of our energy chasing after people who don't truly value us? We bend, we compromise, we try to be liked, yet deep inside it leaves us feeling empty. The truth is, this isn't about being liked. It's about being respected. Respect doesn't come from trying to please everyone. It comes from living in alignment with your values, from standing tall in who you are, even if it means not everyone will approve. Because the moment you start shaping your life around other people's expectations, you're no longer living your life. You're playing their game. And here's the hard truth. When you play someone else's game, you will always lose. You'll give too much, expect too little, and slowly forget what you're truly worth. But when you decide to stop wasting energy on those who don't appreciate you, something powerful happens. You begin to reclaim your strength. This is not about arrogance, it's about self-respect. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less. Every man who ever built something meaningful, whether it was a business, a family, or a legacy, did so because he stopped chasing approval and started building his own path. So today, I want to challenge you. Stop asking, how can I get them to like me? And start asking, how can I live in a way that earns respect? Because the truth is, you don't need everyone to like you, but you do need to respect yourself. And when you do, the world will follow. 1. Don't chase validation. One of the biggest traps we fall into is chasing validation. The more we chase approval, the more we lose our strength, our confidence, and ultimately, our self-respect. Think about it. Since childhood, society has trained us to seek the nod of approval. We're told, be a good boy, follow the rules, make everyone happy. And so we grow up believing that our worth comes from someone else's approval. But here's the harsh truth. When you live only to please others, you slowly kill your own power. Let me give you a clear example. In love, the more desperate you are to keep someone, the faster they pull away. Why? Because desperation kills attraction. When you beg for validation, you don't come across as strong, you come across as weak. And weakness never inspires respect. This is why chasing validation is so dangerous. It makes you fragile. It robs you of the very qualities that make you magnetic: confidence, independence, self-worth. And ironically, the moment you stop chasing, that's when people begin to notice your strength. The real lesson here is simple but powerful. Stop looking for validation from others and start building validation from within. Respect yourself enough to know that you don't need every nod, every like, or every ounce of approval. What you need is to stand tall, to own your choices, and to live in a way that honors your values. Because when you respect yourself first, the world has no choice but to follow. Do you spot the warning signs? One of the most important skills in life is learning to recognize the warning signs when someone no longer respects you. Respect is the foundation of every relationship, whether it's love, friendship, or business. And when that foundation starts to crack, you will feel it. Think about the subtle signals. Their tone of voice shifts, their enthusiasm fades. They cancel plans, or worse, they treat you with silence or disregard. These may seem small at first, but they speak volumes. And here's the truth. When you ignore those signals and stay silent, you actually teaching them something dangerous. That it's okay to treat you as if you don't matter. Too many people think that keeping the peace means staying quiet. But silence isn't peace. It's surrender. And every time you surrender your dignity, you send a message. I don't deserve better. That message doesn't just weaken how they see you, it weakens how you see yourself. So, what's the lesson here? When you notice these warning signs, don't look away, don't excuse them, and don't accept disrespect as normal. You have the power to decide your response. You can walk away. You can draw boundaries. You can say, "This is not acceptable," because self-respect is not negotiable. The truth is simple. The moment you choose respect for yourself over approval from others, your entire life changes. People may leave, but the right ones will stay. And the respect you demand from the world will always start with the respect you give to yourself. Dirifi, the power of stepping back. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make in life is not chasing, not arguing, not trying to prove your worth, but simply stepping back. We live in a world that constantly tells us to fight harder, show up more, make them see your value. But here's the truth: when you're always available, always present, always giving, people begin to take it for granted. It's only when you step back, when your presence is no longer guaranteed, that others start to feel your absence. This isn't about playing games. It's not manipulation. It's about redirecting your energy. Instead of pouring everything into chasing someone else's approval, you invest it into yourself. You focus on your growth, your peace, your purpose, and something remarkable happens. When you become grounded, confident, and independent, you stop needing to be chosen. And that's exactly when people start noticing you in a different light. Think about it. How many times in your life did someone only realize your value after you stopped showing up for them? How many times did you discover your own strength after you chose yourself, instead of begging for their attention? The Stoics remind us that our power lies in what we can control, and the one thing always within our control is where we place our energy. When you stop pouring it into battles that don't matter, you unlock freedom. You gain clarity. You become magnetic. Not because you chased anyone, but because you no longer need to. So, the next time you feel the urge to prove yourself, remember, sometimes the greatest strength is not in stepping forward, but in stepping back. 4. Self-investment. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly invested in yourself? Not by watching endless TV shows, not by scrolling through social media for hours, but by doing something that actually made you stronger, wiser, or healthier. Most people spend their days consuming distractions. But the truth is, the greatest investment you will ever make is not in stocks, not in real estate. It's in you. Your health, your skills, your financial discipline, your daily habits. Every time you choose to exercise instead of staying on the couch. Every time you read a book instead of wasting another hour online. Every time you save money instead of spending recklessly, you are sending yourself a powerful message. I am worth the effort. Think about that for a moment. If you don't invest in yourself, why should anyone else? Confidence doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It is built, brick by brick, by the actions you take every single day. The Stoics believed in living with discipline and purpose because they knew, without self-mastery, freedom is impossible. And here's the best part. It doesn't have to be huge. Start with one small action a day, one page of a book, one walk around the block, $1 saved. Over time, those tiny investments compound into a version of you that is stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. So the next time you feel tempted to waste your time on things that don't matter, ask yourself, what could I do right now to invest in myself? Because the best return you'll ever see is the person you become. 5. Set boundaries like a leader. Let's talk about boundaries. Most people hear that word and think of walls, something that shuts others out. But true boundaries are not walls, they are fences. A fence doesn't isolate you, it protects what matters inside. If you don't set clear boundaries, people will assume you have no value to protect. Think about it. When you say yes to everything, when you allow others to take your time, your energy, your peace of mind, what message are you really sending? That your life, your priorities, your well-being come second. But leaders, true leaders, know that boundaries are not selfish. They are necessary. They are the invisible lines that communicate, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is how far you can go. Without them, you are at the mercy of everyone else's agenda. With them, you reclaim control over your life. And here's the key. Boundaries are not built with words alone. They must be reinforced by action. If you say you need time for yourself, but still answer every call, do people believe you? No. But the moment you act consistently, people start to respect you, even admire you. Ask yourself, where in your life are you letting people cross lines they shouldn't? Where do you need to draw that fence, not to keep the world out, but to keep your peace, your energy, and your values safe? Because at the end of the day, boundaries are not barriers. They are the foundation of self-respect. And without self-respect, how can you ever expect others to respect you? 6. Absence effect. Have you ever noticed how people only start to value something once it's gone? That's the absence effect. It's human nature. We take for granted what's always there. Think about it. When someone is constantly available, always saying yes, always showing up at every moment, over time, people stop appreciating them. Their presence becomes invisible, almost expected. But the moment that person steps back, the moment their chair is empty, suddenly everyone feels the weight of their absence. Only then do they realize, wow, we really needed them. This isn't about playing games or manipulating others. The absence effect is a reminder that your energy, your presence, your attention, these are valuable. And when something is valuable, it cannot be everywhere all the time. So here's the lesson. Instead of trying to prove your worth by constantly showing up, focus on becoming someone worth missing. Invest in yourself. Build your skills. Strengthen your mind and body. When you pull back and create space, people don't just notice your absence. They recognize your true value. Ask yourself this. Where in your life are you giving too much to the point where people stop appreciating it? Maybe it's at work, maybe in a relationship, maybe even with friends. What if you pulled back just enough to protect your energy and let others see what you bring to the table? Absence, when used with intention, doesn't weaken connection. It deepens respect. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is not by being present, but by being missed. 7. Unshakable confidence. What does real confidence look like? Most people think confidence means walking into a room loudly, showing off, or trying to prove how great you are. But let me tell you something. True, unshakable confidence is much quieter. It doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to impress. It simply is. Think about the most grounded people you've ever met. They don't brag about their wealth. They don't constantly talk about their looks or achievements. Instead, they carry a calm energy that says, I know who I am, and I don't need your approval to feel it. That's real power. And here's the secret. It doesn't come from money, appearance, or status. Unshakable confidence comes from one thing: keeping the promises you make to yourself. When you say, I'm going to wake up early, and you actually do it. When you commit to working out, learning a skill, or staying disciplined, and you follow through, your brain starts to trust you. That trust becomes the foundation of confidence. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing yourself day after day that you can rely on you. And once you know you can trust yourself, nobody can take that away. So ask yourself right now, what's one small promise you can keep today? It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's drinking more water, finishing a task you've been avoiding, or simply turning off your phone for an hour to focus. Every small action builds discipline, and discipline builds confidence. Because true confidence isn't about proving to the world who you are. It's about proving to yourself that no matter what comes, you'll stand steady, unshakable, and free. 8. Stop over-explaining. Have you ever noticed how often we feel the need to explain ourselves? We say no to something, and then we pile on 10 different excuses, hoping people won't judge us. But here's the truth. The more you over-explain, the weaker you sound. The more you justify, the more you silently say, I don't fully believe in my own choice. Real confidence doesn't need endless explanations. Think about the people you admire most, those who stand strong, calm, and respected. Do they beg for approval? Do they give long speeches to defend every decision? No, they simply state what they believe, and then they let silence do the rest. And here's the powerful part. When you stop over-explaining, you show the world that you trust yourself. You're saying, This is what feels right for me, and that's enough. It's not arrogance, it's self-respect. Of course, this isn't easy. We live in a world that constantly pressures us to be liked, to avoid disappointing anyone. But every time you shorten your explanations, you reclaim a little more of your strength. You're teaching people how to treat you, not as someone who can be pushed or persuaded, but as someone who knows their own ground. So here's a challenge for you. The next time you're tempted to over-explain, pause, take a breath. And instead of defending your choice with a long story, simply say, "This is what works for me." Period. No need to fill the silence. Because when you trust yourself enough to stop over-explaining, you'll find that silence speaks louder than words. 9. Cut off the dead weight. Let me ask you something. How many people in your life truly lift you up, and how many quietly drain you? We all know them. The ones who never respect your time, who only call when they need something, who leave you feeling empty instead of energized. These are what I call dead weight. And here's the hard truth. The longer you carry dead weight, the heavier your journey becomes. Keeping people around who don't respect you is the same as saying, "I'm okay with being disrespected." And you're not. You deserve more. Think about it this way. Your life is like a house. There's only so much space inside. If you keep letting the wrong people take up room, how will the right people ever find a place? Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is clear out the clutter. Let go of those who don't value you, so that you can make space for those who do. And yes, it's painful. Letting go of people, even toxic ones, is never easy. But every time you release someone who drains you, you're telling yourself, "My peace matters. My energy matters." And that's when your circle starts to transform. You begin to attract those who respect you, support you, and walk beside you instead of weighing you down. So here's my challenge for you today. Take a hard look at your circle. Ask yourself who adds light and who brings darkness, who helps you grow and who holds you back. Then have the courage to cut off the dead weight, because the lighter you travel, the farther you'll go. 10. Reclaim focus. Let me ask you something. What's the most valuable thing you own? It's not your car, not your house, not even the money in your bank account. It's your time and your focus. These are the currencies of life. And once they're gone, you don't get them back. But here's the trap most people fall into. They spend these precious resources on the wrong things, on drama that doesn't matter, on endless comparisons with people online, on conversations with those who don't respect their worth. And at the end of the day, they wonder why they feel drained, distracted, and stuck. The Stoics taught us that attention is our most powerful tool. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So if you give your attention to noise, you're building a noisy life. But if you give it to growth, discipline, and purpose, you're building a powerful life. Here's a simple exercise you can try today. Grab a notebook. Write down your biggest goals, the ones that actually matter to you. Then look at how you're spending your time. Are your hours moving you closer to those goals, or are they being stolen by distractions? And once you see the truth, don't be afraid to cut out what doesn't serve you. That might mean saying no to gossip. It might mean logging off social media earlier. It might mean distancing yourself from people who constantly pull your energy down. Because every minute you reclaim, every ounce of focus you protect, is a step toward the life you're meant to live. So ask yourself today, are you the master of your attention, or are you letting the world decide for you? 11. The art of detachment. Most people confuse detachment with not caring, but that's not what it really means. Detachment doesn't mean you stop loving or stop giving your best. It means you care deeply, but you refuse to let the outcome control your peace of mind. Think about it. Have you ever poured your heart into something or someone only to feel crushed when it didn't go the way you wanted? Maybe it was a relationship where you gave everything, and the other person walked away. Maybe it was a project you worked tirelessly on, but it didn't succeed. In those moments, it feels like the ground disappears beneath you. But here's the Stoic truth. You can love fully, you can give your all and still stand strong if things don't go as planned. Why? Because your worth isn't tied to outcomes, your peace isn't chained to results. The only thing you truly own is your effort, your choices, your character. The rest? It's outside your control. Imagine living with that mindset. You give your best in love, in work, in life, but if something slips away, you don't break. You breathe. You let it go. You trust that life will unfold as it should. That's the art of detachment. And here's the paradox. When you stop clinging so tightly to outcomes, you actually become freer, more present, and more alive. You stop living in fear of loss, and you start living with peace in your soul. So ask yourself, are you holding on too tightly to things you can't control? Or are you ready to practice the kind of detachment that brings true inner freedom? 12. Dominate your own path. So many of us grow up living a script that was handed to us, not the one we wrote for ourselves. Society tells us what success should look like. Our families, our peers, even social media push us toward paths that may not truly belong to us. And before we know it, we're chasing goals that don't even reflect who we really are. But here's the truth. Your life is your responsibility. Nobody else is coming to live it for you. Nobody else will carry your dreams to the finish line. You are the author, the director, and the main character of this story. And the sooner you accept that, the freer you become. So what does it mean to dominate your own path? It means creating your own vision instead of borrowing someone else's. It means asking yourself tough questions. What do I truly want? What kind of life would I be proud to live? And then, taking bold action toward it, without waiting for perfect timing, without hiding behind excuses. But remember this. Walking your own path doesn't mean walking alone. Build a community. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, not those who drag you back into doubt or distraction. The right companions can turn a difficult climb into an incredible journey. Too many people spend their lives waiting for permission, for clarity, for the right moment. But waiting is just another form of fear. If you want to own your path, you can't wait. You must begin today. So here is the challenge I'll leave you with. Stop living by someone else's easy script. Stop rehearsing for a life that isn't yours. Step onto your own stage, write your own lines, and start walking the path only you can create. Because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs you. Imagine this. You stop chasing approval. You walk into a room not needing validation from anyone. Because your confidence is unshakable. You take back your focus, your time, your energy. And in that moment, you become a stronger version of yourself. And here's the irony. When you change, when you grow, the people who once doubted you, ignored you, or even disrespected you will feel that gap. They'll notice that you no longer need their recognition. But by then, you'll be too busy living your path to care. Because the true transformation was never about fixing them. It was always about transforming you. So here's my challenge for you today. Draw one new boundary, say no to something that drains your power. Take back 1 hour, an hour for yourself, away from distractions to invest in your growth. And make one bold step toward becoming the man you know you're meant to be. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be huge. But it has to start now. And if you're ready, I want you to say it out loud. Or even write it in the comments. I am ready to reclaim my power. Because this isn't just about you. This is the beginning of a movement. A brotherhood of strong, unshakable men who live with purpose, discipline, and honor. The world doesn't need more men who follow blindly. It needs men who rise boldly. And today, you get to decide which one you will be. If this message spoke to you, don't just keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with a brother who needs it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next step on this journey. And if you're ready to walk this path together, join our community. We're building something powerful here, and you belong in it.